Today I'm going to talk about showering with eczema. A lot of people explain the feeling as needles piercing your skin. I would say that it's like pouring alcohol over the wound, which is similar feeling. Um, so I learned how to take a shower when I was 7 years old. I don't know if that's late. I'm not sure if anyone can relate, but I was really scared of getting water in my face. I remember for the longest time when my parents had to wash my hair, I would have to like put a towel on my face and just like bend over the bathtub so that I could get my hair washed. Because I was totally scared. I was scared that if I went under the shower head and I got too close, it would just suck me in, and wouldn't be able to see anyone ever again. I'm pretty sure it was like my cousin who told me that to scare me. Now that I think about it, those are really silly thoughts. Eventually, my parents didn't want me to use so much water for taking baths. Um, I hated the fact that it would feel so nice to get into the bath when the water's all hot, and then just like 5 minutes later, the water would become just lukewarm, and it wouldn't feel nice to be in the bath. So I would run the water whenever the water cooled down, and eventually my parents realized that I was running the faucet whenever the water cooled down, and just like sitting in there, just relaxing. Um, and that didn't make them happy because the water bill was high. And we were trying to save money. Anyways, although it was at first terrifying, I eventually moved on to taking showers. My eczema was very extreme. I had large amounts of like thick, flaky, itchy skin in my inner arms, around my neck at times, in I guess my front of my palm, and also behind my knee. The feeling of the water hitting against my skin really burned. Like I said, it's like alcohol being poured over a wound. It would burn a lot, and I would just like, when I got in the shower, I would scoot back toward the edge of my bathtub. My mom would be helping me shower, because I don't know, I was 7 years old, but I didn't know how to take a shower myself. Or maybe she wanted to force me to shower so that, you know, because I was so scared. Anyways, it's been so long since those days, and I think back and I felt I was being very dramatic. But at the time, since you're so young, you're barely learning about your own emotions. And I knew my mom was very stressed because of me having this skin condition. She didn't know what the cure was, and she would try like oatmeal baths and everything, and she would yell at me, telling me it's okay, like you want to get better, you need a shower, or like she just wanted me to like be clean. And I think she also wanted me to hurry up because I would get sick if I just stood in the shower like that. But I remember fighting back. I told her how much it hurt, and because how much she was denying my pain, saying I forgot exactly what she said, but she was saying I that it's okay. And I remember that I said something quite shocking even for myself. I told her, "It's not your body, it's my body. How do you know whether it hurts or not?" And I was around 7 years old this time. I still remember the specific moment because it was the beginning of some type of emotional maturity in myself. I basically put myself in my mother's shoe in that moment and stood up for myself. I remember ever since then, she didn't try to force me to, take a shower when it hurt. Eventually, I came around to finding my own methods to make it not burn. So, after many days of crying in the shower, when the water would hit the lining of my neck, the back of my neck, I could feel the sharp pain, like someone used a knife to cut my neck. It didn't help that I prefer taking hot showers because, hot water actually dries out your skin. But hot showers are is one of the joys in life, you know? You have to agree with me on this. Now, this is the part that I mentioned earlier about the manageable days. I want to go into details about the times when it didn't burn and how I actually, I guess, found not a remedy but a method for it to not burn. So maybe if I share these few methods, someone could use these methods, and it might help to make it more bearable, if you know what I mean. So, I would say I had three methods. The first one was putting Vaseline on the area before going in the shower. And I hate Vaseline. I don't know. It's just, I remember my dad would always put Vaseline like on the bottom of, or the heel of my foot, or just like on my skin. And I hated Vaseline because when you put it on, it's very thick and it's super like sticky. And then if you it would actually make my skin feel more itchy because if my skin couldn't breathe in that area that he would put Vaseline on, it would feel like heat was trapped in my skin, and then I would like just scratch. And then I would get into the cycle of scratching, my parents yelling and blah blah blah, and you know. So I remember the most painful areas were my neck and my face because like those areas are very sensitive and the skin is very thin. So I would just dab a little Vaseline in those areas, and then when I would go in the shower, I wouldn't feel the burning, unless I go directly under the shower head. So I would actually gently rub water on my face and neck after letting the steam open up my pores, and that's one method that I was able to not feel that burning sensation while showering. So, the second method, deciding to shower before I started scratching. Of course, this is only possible at home, can't shower when you're just scratching in school. But whenever I felt an outbreak about to happen, that like tingly sensation and you just like feel it all over your body. Before I would scratch, I would hop into the shower, and it wouldn't burn, but this was only in the specific situation where my skin was not all scratched up or had any cuts or cracks at the time. And I would go in the shower and actually, if it was itchy, I would try not to scratch, but it's hard when people tell you don't scratch because, like, if you don't scratch, it's just gonna be on your mind, and it's just I think whoever has this skin condition, you learn pain tolerance and also endurance because of dealing with like the itchiness. I would say that's a benefit. Anyways, um yeah, you must be thinking, why would you scratch? Did I mention this part? Sorry, let me go back. I would go in the shower and actually scratch those areas under the running water. If it was not like cracked, let's say like I had non-itchy skin for a couple of days, but there was still like a thick flaky patch, and suddenly it felt itchy. I would actually let the water run. The steam will actually loosen up the skin, and that's when I would just like rub off the dead skin. And I know people, like you hear from doctors, they say don't do that, like just put cream on it, don't scratch it, leave it alone. But there's some times where you just can't help it, and you'll do that, you'll scratch without even realizing that you're scratching. I have a story on that too, but anyways, yeah, it didn't burn, and I realized that my eczema was constantly changing. So the reason why I came up with these methods was that I realized that some days, if it was really bad, it would be all red, flaky, itchy, and then other days, if I scratched, I would see new, like non-irritated skin. So I want to go into further detail on this later, because I actually found out the reason why later in life, what irritated my skin. But you know, as a kid, you don't know what inflammation is. You're just like reacting to how your body is reacting. Like going out in the springtime, like pollen is a trigger for me. And then just like seeing like red bumps on my skin that were itchy, and I just scratch it. Just talking about this is a pain. I have a headache, but I don't regret. Um, I think it was a good learning experience for me to go through these experiences. I know they sound negative, but they have shaped me to become a stronger person. So, if anyone's listening out there, I want you to realize that all the experiences that you're going through, um, it's gonna make you a stronger person. And I didn't really have anyone to tell me that when I was small. Until I got older and I shared my experiences with my friends and family and just strangers sometimes. They would tell me that this. So you're not alone and you can do it. Um, Sorry, I got off track again. So, my third method was, if I had no choice, I didn't put the Vaseline because it would make my skin like more itchy, then I would like go shower with my raw, broken, and cracked skin, and those are the days that it hurt. But there was a method that would actually decrease the burning sensation, which was to cover those parts um, before going under the shower. So this is kind of hard to explain, but basically the steam from the shower would open on my skin, and then that would make it more bearable for my skin to run under, to have my eczema go under the water. And what I mean by like covering it is not with like a towel or anything. You could use a towel if you need to, but I just used like my hand, and I would like, if it was the my inner elbow, then I would just cup my inner elbow, and then I would go under the water, just let it like let a little bit of water run through and seep through, and then eventually I would let go, and it would burn less. I still don't really know the reason why, and sure, maybe I can Google the reason why, but if anybody knows or wants to explain why this helps, that would be great. um, yeah, so I remembered, I also remembered that the fact that if I scratched all my dry skin off and showered, my skin did not burn as much compared to when I had thick patches of cracked skin and tried to shower. If anyone can explain this, like I would really love to hear why. I guess let me rephrase the question. Why does covering the skin, like the dry skin, and letting water run through help with not feeling the burning sensation? And number two, like if I scratched off all the dry part and just like had like the raw skin, it wouldn't hurt as much as if I like kept the dry skin on there. There's so much talk about dry and skin. um, but anyways, because of this realization, I would at times just clear off all the dead skin, let it burn a little, and then moisturize thoroughly. That was a big thing. Like, no matter what, anything that I did to my skin, if I tore it apart by scratching, I would always have to clean it and also moisturize. Not sure if this is entirely true. I've done so much like reading on like the skin condition that I start to mix up my facts, but I believe eczema is like a fungus. So I always made sure I used Dove sensitive skin because it didn't burn my skin. It was like it's the only body wash that doesn't burn my skin. So I didn't know that I could only upload videos that were 15 minutes. So sorry if this podcast was choppy, but thank you for listening, and I hope you tune in for the next one. Bye!